Welcome Libra Ascendant, Libra Rising. It is February 3rd, and this is all astrology where we are going to go over the Mercury retrograde, where exactly it's happening in your life. We're going to also talk about the out of bounds Mars, and I'm going to explain the location for you that happens. I'm also making sure to give you the degrees and the dates with all of these events, because Mars and Mercury being in their extreme / imbalanced ways of being, those times are going to overlap. So there's going to be dates where I, for myself, am saying, do not sign anything, do not do anything that requires a signature or a major decision. And then there's another very small window of time where it's the greatest clarity. So we're going to go into that right here, right now. So for Libra Ascendant, Libra Risings, Mercury in your Pisces is all going to be occurring your thinking, okay? Because that's what Mercury is. It's how I think. Pisces is in the location of your, why am I drawing a blank? This is Mercury in Pisces. It's actually there today at 1 degree. Maybe that's why I'm not getting the information. 1 degree. So automatically think of Mercury as having wings, because Mercury is in the air. Mercury flies, okay? So when Mercury was in Aquarius, it was like, yes, you probably had some great ideas, very inspirational time. People get great thoughts that come through. And thinking was just very quick. I know a lot of folks who had a hard time sleeping. I know I did. It was like the mind couldn't shut off sometimes. So when it gets into water, the wings get wet, Mercury slows down, Mercury becomes sluggish. So this means your thinking slows down, your thinking becomes sluggish. So it's a great time for sleeping. Not so much for thinking and being clear, because the waters are cloudy. They're not clear, you know. It's not those icy blue waters you can see to the bottom of the ocean with. No, these are the murky waters that are dark and you can't see through, and it's like, oh shit. In your life, the area of your life that you have your Piscean energy is where this is occurring. Your Piscean energy is in your 6th house, okay? So in matters of health, in matters of your everyday daily routines, okay, which means there might be things you normally do day to day that you all of a sudden are forgetting to do, okay, because it's part of your daily routine. Although having Pisces in your house of daily routines, you may not have daily routines. However, having Capricorn in your 4th house, which is what a Libra Ascendant, Libra Rising does, you're basically going to likely rely upon routines, structured things that were set up when you were a child, okay? Because that's what Capricorn in the 4th house is. We had these very certain ways of doing things. I have actually Miss A, my partner who we do the astrology readings with, she's got Capricorn in her 4th house. So there are things that she does in her home, in her life, more specifically home, because that's where her Capricorn is, where it's all the things from childhood. It's like, this is the way we did it when I was a kid. This is what my mother taught me. So there's a lot of these, it's traditions. It's a very much a placement of traditions. Where Capricorn is in your chart, these are traditions. These are where things are structured, structural things that we did in the home, because it's in the 4th house. The only drawback on that is for Libra Ascendant, Libra Risings, is it would also be connected, your emotions are connected to things from childhood, very much. And so there's this sloughing off period of getting rid of a lot of stuff from childhood that no longer serves us. It's outdated stuff, and we have to now create new things. But getting to the relevancy of Pisces in your 6th house means you could be quite flexible in the home. Pisces doesn't like routine. Matter of fact, Pisces that's too rigid. Pisces is more about, well, I like to have the flexibility. If I have to have the set structure, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable. This is what the 6th house is for you. So the beauty is you could be very flexible. You may have things that you do a certain way, but there's other areas in your chart, especially when it pertains to things, because let's look at the 6th house. This is not only daily routines, but it can be routines outside of the home as well. You know, it could be work routines. It can also have to do with your health. This is the 6th house. Domestic pets. That's also the 6th house. The 6th house is also the area in which some say is the house of our health. I know I already said health, but you know, it's the Virgo health. How about that? Virgo health is our digestion. Okay, so there might be some things about our health that we become very clouded on, because Mercury is going to be coming through there. And even though Mercury is there now, it's like, okay, well, I should be thinking more about health. Yeah, but your thoughts about health aren't going to be real clear because it's in the murky waters. So the 6th house is how we serve people as well. It's the house of service. okay? In a way, it has a lot to do with the 11th house, but the 11th house is serving humanity. It's a big scale thing. The 6th house is more about serving on a very personal level, serving those that we care about, serving our loved ones. All right, it's where you can be very detailed thinking, but having Pisces energy there, it adds to a focus on maybe the big things and the little things. So I would love to hear back from Libras actually how this affects you, because it's not simply just a Libra ascendant thing. It affects where's Mercury in your chart. You know, if your natal Mercury is in a good placement, then this may not affect you in such a horrible way. It may not make your thinking so clouded. In terms of work too, that's the 6th house. It's not just my domestic life, but it's areas of the job and work, okay? And so there might be things related to that become a little murky. However, I want to point something out. This energy doesn't have to be all bad. You know, this can be a great energy for doing creative projects, because that is the 6th house. It's creative, it's projects. But when Mercury gets there, I mean, definitely for people who've got Pisces there, Libra ascendant, Libra risings, you're always into doing creative projects, because that's what Pisces is very, very creative. Okay, it's connecting with source, getting inspiration and ideas. In the 6th house, it's doing it in a physical way, connecting the dots, right? How to do something. That's that Virgo energy. So now when Mercury gets there, it's like, okay, wow, I'm getting better ideas, because they're incorporating the thinking, but they're incorporating it doesn't have to just be murky cloudiness. It could be inspirations from the divine, connecting with the other side. So this could be great for people who are doing artsy type of things, people who are art teachers, right? Miss A is an art teacher. So I would love to find out from her how this affected her students in their work and to see how it expressed. It could be wonderful. Virgo energy tends to be more on the crafty side. I will say that. So for her, she'll probably start, incorporating more crafty things into her daily routine. Now let's get into the Mercury retrograde and how this affects our thinking. Again, this is in your house of your job. So when it comes to work, you might find, okay, great. Unless you're an art teacher, or unless you teach art, this might not be a great placement. This could probably be difficult. However, if you have Pisces in your 6th house, chances are you have a job that involves creativity, or in music, because Piscean is definitely music. The Piscean energy is all about the non-tangible 5D realm. It's not about the 3D world, okay? So working in the non-tangible things, right? Whether it's working with energy, whether it's healing, okay? Literally working with energy and helping folks to heal. This is a good placement for Libra ascendant, Libra risings. And like I say, artsy things, creative projects, pets. This is also that placement for pets. How do we relate this to the Mars energy? All right. Mars goes out of bounds. Mars goes out of bounds on February 9th for you. It's from February 9th to March 3rd. When Mars goes out of bounds, it becomes imbalanced. It becomes more assertive. It becomes more reactionary. It becomes more, I'm going to react and I'm not going to think so much. I'm going to definitely just leap without looking, more impulsive, more impatient, so less patience. This Mars energy is in your 3rd house of thinking. I know this is it makes your thinking more impulsive, more reactionary. It also makes your speaking more assertive and feel more forceful to those that are around you. So you want to be aware of that for anybody who you have in your life. On the 9th, on February 9th, Mars will actually be at 24 degrees in Sagittarius, and the galactic center is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So within a couple of days, it'll be conjunct the galactic center in your 3rd house of speaking, of thinking, of communication. This is also social media. So you're likely going to take on a very assertive tone in when you're relating with others. You want to be careful with that. All right, if you're a salesperson, you're going to be real aggressive, all right, in speaking and in making your point, and you might want to be aware it might feel threatening to folks. It might be an over-aggressive feeling to people who are on the receiving end. Just be aware of that, February 9th to March 3rd. Now, it's hard to be aware of it when you're thinking, right, when transiting Mercury is clouded, and it's in Mercury. But I'm giving you the dates. I'm giving you the degrees. So mark this stuff on the calendar so that you know in advance. I'm going to give you the overlapping dates. When Mercury's in her retrograde mode, in Pisces, not thinking real clearly at all, and when Mars is definitely like reactionary and over the top impulsive, okay, and assertive, and feeling a little too aggressive for folks. And it's not just your words, it's your energy, okay? I don't know if you understand that, but think about it. If you have the fiery energy in air, okay, when air and fire mix, what do? It's combustible. They explode, right? Oxygen and fire, the mixture is dangerous. So when you think of that in terms of energy, Mars is your passion, your drive, your fire, what you will not back down from. You can go from 0 to 10 in a millisecond. Somebody on the receiving end, even if you're watching your words, you have to keep your energy in check. Because people who are energy sensitive, it feels like they're being, like daggers are being thrown at them. And I know that's probably hard. It's probably like, that's crazy. The date of February 17th to March 3rd, okay? Those times right there is when you want to be extra careful because of the fact that the overlap of the Mars and the Mercury stuff is where the speaking is more impulsive and the thinking, the logic and the rationale are hidden. They're in the low. They're slow. So when you mix those two things together, right? Impulsive actions, impulsive words, impulsive communications where the thinking before we spoke wasn't even present. There could be things said that it's a complete regret. But know this in advance and you're going to be okay. You just have to learn how to keep yourself in check. Your words, your thoughts, and your energy in check during this time. Now, what I'm going to give you are some dates. For myself, I said, okay, this is a time where if I have to make a decision, if I have to make a deal, if I have to sign my name to something, there's a time of clarity that we get, okay? And it happens when Mercury starts to go direct. On March 9th is when the Mercury retrograde comes to a halt. It ends. The good news is that going forward from on this date, March 9th, there's a very small window when Mercury's moving forward in air, in Aquarius. Remember, this is a really good place for Mercury because Mercury is a flyer. Mercury has wings. So on March 10th, Mercury's moving forward faster. It's in the Aquarian energy, getting information very quick. And the information that it's getting very quickly is trusted, good information. It's information from source, all right? The window is small. It's literally from March 10th to March 13th. So what you want to do is, if there's something you have to commit to, that you have to sign your name on, right? If there's something you have to submit, or somebody asked about taking a test, if there's any way you can delay things, if you couldn't already have delayed it, the best time, the window that I see that will be the best will be between March 10th and March 13th. After that, Mercury goes back into Pisces and Mercury slows down again. And it stays there for like the next 20 days. So I hope this has shed some light and given you clarity on the events and things that are happening. But please be aware that prior to Valentine's Day, right, that's February 14th or something like that, there is this Venus that goes into Aries. And when Venus goes into Aries, Aries is impulsive as well. That's the Mars energy. It's ruled by Mars. So that out of bounds Mars affects the way that Arian energy acts, which means it will affect the way the Venus in Aries acts. Venus is all about self-indulging. I want things, but she likes things to be peaceful and beautiful and sensual. She likes things that taste good. She likes things that look good. So for a Libra ascendant, Libra rising, this is in your 7th house. So this is significant one-on-one relationships. Be careful because Venus will be more impulsive at this time. She will be looking for new adventures because when Mars finally moves into the Aquarian energy, which it will still be out of bounds until 10 degrees. I don't know if I gave those degrees. 24 degrees of Sag to 10 degrees of Capricorn. Mars is out of bounds, meaning Mars is imbalanced and acts more impulsive, more reactionary, more all about, I'm just going after what I want and I'm not going to think about the consequences. Okay. However, when it goes into Capricorn, it is typically, I don't mean to confuse anybody, but typically when Mars gets into Capricorn, because Capricorn doesn't take chances. Capricorn's more smart, more thought out, and does things that are more traditional and tried and true and tested. But what happens in the first 5 degrees of Mars transiting through Capricorn is it's trining Uranus in Taurus. This is a beautiful aspect, but there's a desire here. There's an ease and a desire to do something new, all right? Because it's exciting. That's what Uranus represents, something new and exciting, an advancement, something that will progress me. Just make sure that when you make decisions to do something new, exciting, and that you think is going to be a progression in some way for you, that you're doing it after March 9th, okay? That if you have to make a decision, It's between the 10th and the 13th. These pinball energies, we have intense energies all over our chart right now. So we might feel scattered, okay? For some of us, we might feel scattered because Mercury in water, the thinking being murky and scattered. This is normal, but it's not going to be forever, okay? Mercury will get back, you know, I'm going to do a follow-up video that will help us to better understand. Once Mercury is out of Pisces energy, she then hits Aries. And hitting Aries is fire. So think about that. Mercury and air go into fire. Aries is all about being fiery Mars. It takes on the same tone. This is something that we're acclimating to. And as long as we're aware and we're conscious and we're being self-aware and conscious, okay? Not just pointing fingers, but looking in the mirror conscious, that kind of conscious, doing our self-work. We can get through this. I'm going to get through it. So you're going to get through it, all right? Because I'm going to be doing this for me so I can guide myself through it. And I'll be sharing what I'm doing, all right? And the dates that I'm paying attention to. So Libra ascendant, I know decisions can be difficult at times. Especially, you know, when in the area of work, there's, you know, that cloud of confusion, right? And hopefully you're doing something creative. But I hope, if nothing else, this is at least shed some light on your way.